Good afternoon, everyone. We all ready? Okay. Chief Floyd Mitchell giving our weekly update in regards to different events that occurred throughout the city. Unfortunately, we had a homicide last night, and I have Deputy Chief Frederick Shavies here to give an update on that.
So good afternoon, everyone. Again, unfortunately, the Oakland Police Department was notified of a shooting that occurred on September 26th in the 3400 block of Wilson Avenue, just after 5:45 p.m. last night. When officers arrived, they located a victim who had sustained at least one gunshot wound. Paramedic personnel responded to the scene to assist, but unfortunately, the victim was pronounced deceased on scene. Investigators from the OPD homicide section responded to the scene and have begun their follow-up investigation into the circumstances surrounding the shooting. The victim's name is being withheld pending notification of next of kin. This incident represents the 69th homicide here in the city of Oakland this year. At this time last year, the homicide section had investigated 96 homicides at this time last year. So this is a reduction, but again, there's been 69 too many this year. And I'll turn it back over to the chief, and I'll come back for any questions if there are any.
We'll open it up to questions here in a little bit. I also have Captain Febble here. He was one of our incident commanders out at the A's game yesterday. Just wanted to let him give a brief in regards to our presence out there, any issues we ran into, and the arrest or citations that we issued there. Captain Febble.
Good afternoon, everyone. We had the honor of working with the Oakland Coliseum yesterday for the final game at the Coliseum. Over 45,000 attendees for what was by and large a sold-out event. Largely peaceful event with 4 arrests just for public intoxication, and security did manage to eject 2 fans who ran onto the field. No known persons were injured at the game. No personnel were injured. And the staff at the Oakland Coliseum said it was a very successful event. And we are aware that there were some notable attempts of vandalism at the Coliseum. They were considered very minor, and there was no known actual merchandise that left the building due to good security. Turn back to Chief.
Okay. And I'm just going to cover kind of where we are stat-wise throughout the city in regards to our Part 1 persons crimes. This is when there's a victim that has been injured through either some type of assault. So as DC Shavies talked about, we've had 69 homicides this year as compared to 95 last year. That's a 27% reduction in homicides so far this year. Our aggravated assaults, meaning when someone either was shot, stabbed, or seriously injured in some type of assault, we are down 14% in that category. Our rapes or sexual assaults, we are down 14% in that category. We had 134 this year as compared to 156 last year. Our robberies, we're showing that we're down 24% in robberies this year, so that's a good drop in robberies this year, for total Part 1 persons crimes of a reduction in 19%. So I will stop there and see if there's any questions in regards to the homicide or our presence and activities out at the game last night. Yes?
Can we start with is it 69 or 68?
69.
Oh, 69. I thought you said 68.
It's our 69th homicide this year.
Oh, I mean, was it, I think you said 95 or 96?
There were 96 as of September 26th last year, and the 97th occurred on September 27th.
Okay. What do we make of that decline?
Well, I think it's a number of things. One, the hard work that are being done by not only our ceasefire detectives and officers out there, but our patrol officers, but it's also our community working with us to identify individuals that are involved in crime and that would commit crime, and the ability for our intelligence officers and the intelligence gathering things that we use to try to intercept some of these individuals. I think it's just a number of things. I'm afraid you want to add anything to that?
I would just add, we again, as you all know, we reinstated or re-implemented the ceasefire work here within the city. There's been, and that's not just enforcement. A lot of that has to do with person-to-person communication from both members of the police department as well as members of our Department of Violence Prevention and our community-based organizations that we work with throughout the city that are giving the message to those that would likely be involved in violent crime, either as a victim or a suspect, asking them to put the guns down and offering services. And I think that we're seeing a huge return just in this short time that we've reinstated the program or the strategy.
OPD confirmed there was a stabbing around the Stadium Coliseum right after the game. Can you provide any information or details in regards to that? And also, are there any suspects identified? Because you mentioned there were some arrests, but I didn't think any of those were related to the stabbing.
There were no arrests related to the stabbing. OPD is investigating whether or not an incident occurred. There was an individual who attended the game and went home to his residence in Contra Costa County, and after some time advised that he recognized that he was bleeding and that he had admitted to being somewhat inebriated and believed that it may have occurred at the Coliseum. We're investigating.
And also, this is not related to this, but yesterday, this guy, I read on the Facebook page that Augusto Matias, he's the guy that was drunk. He was probably on the run for over a month. He surrendered yesterday to OPD. Can you provide more details on that if you have any information available?
Is that the press release that was put out?
Yes.
Yes.
The individual he submitted to the police and was taken into custody.
I have another question. So regarding the guy from last night, we hear that the shooting was targeted. Can you tell us anything about that?
It's an open investigation. It's less than 24 hours into the incident. There were a number of individuals that were, I don't want to say loitering, but that were in the area. A car did arrive, and it did appear as though that group was targeted, yes. Whether or not the victim was the intended target remains to be seen. We'll try to flesh that out through our investigation.
Anybody in custody as of yet?
No one is in custody yet. We ask that if anyone has any information, that they contact the homicide section at 510-238-3821.
And no motive at this point, right?
We don't have any working theories at this point. We're running down any and every lead that we've gotten in the last 12 to 18 hours.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.